Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivirajagacharya Shodhashita Shri Srimad Grace Abhajanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Sri Chaitanya Chidamrita Ki Sai Gaura Premanande. We shall read from Sri Chaitanya Chidamrita Adri Chapter 10, text number 14. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Pundarika Vidyanidhi Bado Shakha Jani Yandrana Malana Prabhu Kandila Apani Pundarika Vidyanidhi, the third big branch, was so dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that in his absence, Lord Chaitanya himself would sometimes cry. Purport. In Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, Srila Pundarika Vidyanidhi is described as the father of Srimati Radharani in Krishna Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore treated him as his father. Pundarika Vidyanidhi's father was known as Baneshwara, or according to another opinion, Shuklambara Brahmachari. And his mother's name was Ganga Devi. According to one opinion, Baneshwara was a descendant of Sri Shivarama Ganobadhyaya. The original home of Pundarika Vidyanidhi was in East Bengal, now Bangladesh, in a village near Dhaka named Baghia, which belonged to the Varendra group of Brahmana families. Sometimes these Varendra Brahmanas were at odds with another group known as Radhiya Brahmanas, and therefore Pundarika Vidyanidhi's family was ostracized, and at that time was not living as a respectable family. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, one of the members of this family is living in Vrindavan and is named Sarojananda Goswami. One special characteristic of this family is that each of its members had only one son or no son at all, and therefore the family was not very expansive. There is a place in the district of Chattagram in East Bengal that is known as Hata Hajari, and a short distance from this place is a village known as Mekhala Gram, in which Pundarika Vidyanidhi's forefathers lived. One can approach Megalagram from Chattagram either on horseback, bullock cart, or by steamer. The steamer station is known as Annapurna Ghat, Annapurnar Ghat. The birthplace of Pundarika Vidyanidhi is about 2 miles southwest of Annapurna Ghat. The temple constructed there by Pundarika Vidyanidhi is now very old and much in need of repair. Without repair, the temple may soon crumble. There are 2 inscriptions on the brick of that temple, but they are so old that one cannot read them. There is another temple, however, about 200 yards south of this one, and some people say that this is the old temple constructed by Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Pundarika Vidyanidhi father, and he gave him the title Premanithi. Pundarika Vidyanidhi later became the spiritual master of Gadadhar Pandit and an intimate friend of Sarup Damodar's. Gadadhar Pandit at first misunderstood Pundarika Vidyanidhi to be an ordinary pounds and shillings man, but later, upon being corrected by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became his disciple. Another incident in the life of Pundarika Vidyanidhi involves his criticizing the priest of Jagannath temple, for which Jagannath Prabhu chastised him personally by slapping his cheeks. This is described in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, Antyakhanda, chapter 7. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur informs us that during his time there were still 2 living descendants of the family of Pundarika Vidyanidhi who were named Sri Harakumara Smriti Tirtha and Sri Krishna Kinkara Vidyalankara. For further information, one should refer to the dictionary known as Vaishnava Manjusha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Utirayed Nishtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Slokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. We shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, text number 61. Manasas Chandrama Jato Buddhir Grampati Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chittam Chetyas Tato Bhavat Manasas Chandrama Jato Buddhir Giramapi Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chittam Chaityas Tato Bhavat Manasas Chandrama Jato Buddhir Girampatihi Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chittam Chaityas Tato Bhavat. Buddhir Girampati Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chittam Chaityas Tato Bhavat. Manasas Chandrama Jato Buddhir Girampati Ahankaras Tato Rudras Chittam Chaityas Tato Bhavat. Manasaha, from the mind. Chandrama, the moon. Jataha, appeared. Buddhi, intelligence. Buddhe, from intelligence. Girampati, lord of speech. Brahma. Ahankaraha, false ego. Tataha, then. Rudraha, Lord Shiva. Chittam, consciousness. Chaityaha, the deity presiding over consciousness. Tataha, then. Abhavad, appeared. Translation and purport by Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. Let's repeat. After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next. And after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki. The moon appeared after the appearance of mind, and this indicates that the moon is the presiding deity of mind. Similarly, Lord Brahma, appearing after intelligence, is the presiding deity of intelligence. And Lord Shiva, who appears after false ego, is the presiding deity of false ego. In other words, it is indicated that the moon god is in the mode of goodness, whereas Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. The appearance of consciousness after the appearance of false ego indicates that from the beginning, material consciousness is under the mode of ignorance, and that one therefore has to purify himself by purifying his consciousness. The purificatory process is called Krishna consciousness. As soon as the consciousness is purified, the false ego disappears. Indication of the body with the self is called false identification or false ego. Lord Chaitanya confirms this in his Shikshashtaka. He states that the first result of chanting Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, is that dirt is cleared from the consciousness or the mirror of the mind. And then at once the blazing fire of material existence is over. The blazing fire of material existence is due to false ego. But as soon as the false ego is removed, one can understand his real identity. At that point, he is actually liberated from the clutches of Maya. As soon as one is freed from the clutches of false ego, his intelligence also becomes purified. And then his mind is always engaged upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared on the full moon day as Gaurachandra, or the spotless transcendental moon. The material moon has spots on it, but on the transcendental moon, Gaurachandra, there are no spots. In order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Supreme Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon, Gaurachandra. Those who are materially passionate, or those who want to exhibit their intelligence or material advancement in life, are generally worshippers of Lord Brahma. And persons who are in the gross ignorance of identifying with the body worship Lord Shiva. Materialists like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana are worshippers of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. But Prahlad and other devotees in the service of Krishna consciousness worship the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead. Om Ajnanathamira Antasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam Pangum lankayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dīnatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Sri Chaitanyamishwaram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Idi Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yonta Pravishya Vajamimam Prasuttam Sanjeevayatya Gala Shakti Dharasudamnam Anyam Sahasacharana Shravanattu Gadi Pranandamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Manasas Chandrama Ajato Buddhir Buddhir Girampati Ankarasto Rudraschittam Chaityastato Bhavat. After the mind, the moon appeared, intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and Lord Shiva, and after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness, and the deity presiding over consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is giving a lot of revelations in this purport. The portion we are reading is from the teachings of Lord Kapila. Kapila Dev is explaining how the universal form is manifested. He first explained how and why the material world is created. Material world is created for us, the living entities who were rebellious against Krishna, who want to forget Krishna, who want to enjoy separately from Krishna. For them, Krishna has created another facility wherein we can try to become like him, try to lord over. So, from outside it looks like lording over is very enjoyable. Of course, lording over is very enjoyable, but for those who do not know the repercussions, it's very enjoyable. Krishna never lords over the material nature. Material nature is naturally functioning under his direction. There is no question of lording over because it is natural for the material nature to work under Krishna. Or spiritual nature, or for that matter, anybody and everybody. All living entities, including demigods, all are under the control of Lord Krishna. Krishna is lording over, but the nature is not that of lording over. Krishna's nature is loving nature. He lords over by love. But the living entity who want to lord over the material nature want to exploit, not out of love. Because of which we have to be in a different place. We cannot be in spiritual world when we want to lord over the material nature. So the Lord is giving, He has very kindly given a separate place where we can go and try to enjoy ourselves. So Krishna is like a loving father. Even though the living entities want to rebel against Krishna, but still Krishna is trying to provide all facilities for our so-called enjoyment. And our Krishna's decision to give us an opportunity to lord over is justified by Him providing us lot of facilities. Krishna manifested Mahatattva, that is mentioned here earlier. And Mahatattva is nothing but sum total of all material energies. And then He entered and He manifested Vishwarupa, universal form. The whole universe is like the form of Krishna. Krishna entered the material nature in the universal form. And here it is mentioned how, like a child is formed in the mother's womb, how part by part, portion by portion is manifested. So the material world, how first 5 elements were created, and those 5 elements were, uh, you know, mixed by false ego. All that is explained, and finally now Lord Kapila is explaining how mind manifested. Krishna has created the mind. So mind is something that is very important. So mind is created. Along with the mind, Krishna has created moon to control the mind. Even the astrologers, when you go and somebody is not feeling steady in his mind, they will see where the moon is. Oh. So in which house the moon is situated? So moon controls the mind. And then moon is supposed to be in the mode of goodness, as Prabhupada is explaining. White, pure white. And then after the mind is established, then he created, buddhi is manifested, intelligence manifested within the Vishwarupa, within the universal form. And to control the intelligence, Lord Brahma was created. Lord Brahma is called here Girampati. Girampati means the Lord of speech. Gira means Karmana Manasa Gira, the speech. Intelligence. Speech is the symptom of intelligence, actually. Like people say, Prabhupada said, one cannot understand about his intelligence until he opens his mouth. Somebody opens the mouth, will understand what is his intelligence. So, Girampati. Then you have, after Brahma is created, Ahankara manifested. And Ahankara was given to Rudra to control. And then after that, the consciousness manifested, and after that, the Lord of the consciousness manifested. That's a sloka. So here, Prabhupada is explaining how Ahankara is the one that is making us coming into the material world. So we are pure spirit souls, and we cannot operate within this material world. Material world is full of matter, dead matter. It is not living. So, in order for the soul to come into the material world and act, perform activities, there is some kind of in between. You have in the joints you have liquid. If the liquid is dried, the joints won't move. Like that, the connection between the material nature and the spirit soul is the subtle body. Mind, intelligence and ego. The subtle body, only if the subtle body is present, the soul can operate within this material world. The soul cannot manage a body without the subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego. So the soul is connected to the material world through this subtle body. And when the subtle body comes, there is understanding. The soul is thinking, Krishna Bahar Mukha, Bhoga Vancha Kare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how the living entity has become Krishna Bahar Mukha, reluctant to serve Krishna. The moment somebody is reluctant to Krishna, then he is given into Ahankara. False ego, not Ahankara. Ahankara means Ahamkara. Who am I? I am eternal servant of Krishna. is the real ahankara. The false ahankara is, false ego is, I am this body, I am part of this material world, I am this mind, I am this, I am that. In that consciousness, when the consciousness is contaminated, we think everything else as ourselves, other than our real self. Real self is forgotten. Atma is forgotten. So Atma is consciousness. Consciousness manifests finally. Krishna is a kind father. Even though we want to go separate from Krishna, Krishna is still giving us all facilities, making us understand how, I am the Lord of all that I survive. So that facility, that false, false feeling is given to us through this false ego. And Lord Shiva is the Lord of false ego. Doesn't mean Lord Shiva is having false ego. He is the Lord of false ego. He is the controller of the mode of ignorance. So what happens? You have Lord Shiva's associates are Bhudaganas. Bhudaganas are people who don't really understand who they are. They are asked to do anything, they will do. They are Kinkaras. Kinkara means Jai Jagannath, Baladev Subramani, Jai Shri Guru. Kimkara means what to do. That is servant. Kim means what? Kara means do. Kinkara means a person who asks what to do next. You don't know what to do next. So he has to depend on somebody. So it's called Kinkara. The Bhudaganas are called Kinkaras. They don't know really what to do. So Lord Shiva is managing them. For Lord Shiva's job is destruction. He is using these Bhudaganas for destruction. So somebody who is not interested in spiritual life, somebody who is not interested in understanding who I am, not interested in serving Krishna, they are controlled by a false ego. The moment a person is controlled by a false ego, he will come under the jurisdiction of material nature, Maya, and of whom Lord Shiva is the husband, and he controls. So false ego is controlled. Somebody who is interested in material gain, that is why they worship Lord Shiva. Because they are interested only in, they don't find any meaning in spiritual achievement. What is the use? Day in and day out you are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What do you get? Get some money out of it. Something out of it. Simply chanting, repeating. So they don't understand. You get money out of it? Yeah, money I get. Means I can enjoy. My senses are, my demands of my senses are met with money. So they find spiritual activities meaningless. Worshipping the deity meaningless. Chanting the holy name meaningless. Associating with devotees meaningless. Going to holy places meaningless. They are only interested in material enjoyment. Therefore they worship Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Immediately he gives. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam also. Those who are devotees of Lord Shiva, they find, you find them very rich sometimes. Lord Shiva gives. So Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. Rather, he is the one who is controlling those who are in the mode of ignorance. They get naturally attracted by Lord Shiva. It is not that we have to go step by step. First worship Lord Shiva, then Brahma, then Vishnu. Nothing like that. We get naturally attracted by Lord Shiva. Why? Because we are in the mode of ignorance. We are controlled by false ego. Then we have another one. What is that? Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry. Then you have Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the Lord of Girampati, the Lord of intelligence. Lord Brahma is intelligence is what? Intelligence is uh, to understand things, as they are. That is intelligence. And the great sages, they worship Lord Brahma by chanting the Veda Suktas. The Veda is called knowledge. To know is Veda. So all the four Vedas are coming from the four heads of Brahma. So he is the Lord of intelligence. He is a controller. Means he has all information that is required. Material, spiritual, everything he has. He is a Lord of intelligence. And people who are interested in getting that type of intelligence, want to study, want to learn, they worship Lord Brahma. If they worship Lord Brahma, they can get a lot of intelligence. They worship Saraswati, right? The Saraswati is the potency of Lord Brahma. They worship Saraswati, they worship Lord Brahma, they get power to understand, they get intelligence. But that also is not sufficient. Understanding so many things and do what? I know I am not this body, I know I am spirit soul. That's a maximum understanding a person can get out of Veda. And after that, what you will do? After that, you have to engage yourself as you are. You are a spirit soul. You are not this body, that is understood. Out of all the Vedas and Upanishads and everything, all are trying to make us understand what? I am spirit soul. I don't belong to this material world. I am not the body. I am actually the spirit soul who is owning the body. This is the greatest understanding a person can get out of Vedas. And after that, then we have to engage in that understanding. After knowing I am a devotee of Krishna, what we should do? Do business. What is our business? When we know I am a devotee of Krishna, my business is to serve Krishna, to be devoted to Krishna. So when we become devotee of Krishna, then what happens? Our mind gets purified. Mind. Intelligence and mind. Mind is the platform. Mind is the platform where everything is, acting. When you buy a computer, you ask what is a RAM. Random access memory is within the mind. How many GBs? The mind actually processes things. The information that you have, the mood that you have, the ahankara that you have, everything is processed within the mind. So Krishna is giving so much intelligence for the mind. So much importance for the mind. Manmana bhava mad bhakta, Krishna is saying. Krishna is saying the controlled mind is your friend, uncontrolled mind is your enemy. So in this way, mind is very, very important. We need to control our mind. And Prabhupada is telling here that if you worship Lord Gaurachandra, the Chandra, the moon that doesn't have any black mark on it. The material moon is having black marks. But there is a moon that doesn't have any black mark. He is Gaurachandra. And you worship Gaurachandra, then by chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the mind is cleansed. The mind is cleansed. When the mind is cleansed, what is there in the mind already now? Conceptions we have. Mind is sum total of so many conceptions. We have acquired in this life, previous to that. All that is stored within the mind. Storehouse of all impressions. And all that impressions has to go. That is why we have to chant. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is not that nothing is happening. Somebody asked, after chanting, what is your experience? I am able to sleep very well now. Sleep comes very easily. So sleep, of course, that's also a function of mind, because the mind is getting cleared of all impressions. You get relaxed. That's why you feel sleepy actually. So if you are feeling sleepy while chanting, that means the process is working, cleaning is happening. When you have so much load on the head and you get so much pain, when the load is removed, what will happen? There are 100 things on the head. There is a big box, there is a big basket. In that, there are 100, iron balls. By the time you take one by one the iron ball, we start experiencing the weightlessness. Slowly the weight reduces. And as the weight reduces, we become more and more happy. We wait for the last iron ball to be removed. So similarly, as we chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we feel relaxed. Therefore, we feel sleepy actually. That doesn't mean we can sleep. We should actually, only few balls are being removed. We have to continue to chant so that all the load will be removed and become light, and you are able to freely think of Krishna and perform devotional service to Krishna. So worshipping Gaurachandra is the only way. There is Kalau Nasteva 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 Gadaranyata. There is no other way but to chant the holy name. And the holy name is given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How to chant? Only by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's line or following his teachings, we can actually get full benefit of chanting the holy name. There are so many people chanting the holy name all over the place. They don't get benefit. They get benefit, but they don't realize. They don't progress as such. They chant for some time, go back to the same activity. But when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we don't go back to the same activity. We are trying to give up the same activity we were doing before. We are trying to engage ourselves in higher and higher activities, superior activities. So in this way, one can progress. Chanting is required along with our interest to progress. Take up more and more activities, take up more and more responsibility for improving ourselves from the material consciousness and gradually reach spiritual consciousness. So this is how Krishna is providing a facility for the living entity to progress from false ego to purification. False ego to pure consciousness. Consciousness, finally it's mentioned, after the false ego is manifested, then all the three are given. Then Krishna has given the consciousness. He has sent the soul, led the soul inside this material world. And along with him, the presiding deity of consciousness. What is that? Paramatma. Along with Jivatma, Paramatma also comes. For protection, for guiding. Very subtly, means like how subtle the soul is. As subtle as a soul is a super soul. But we are totally ignorant of the subtle nature of the soul. We are completely into thinking I am this body. We are very busy in this material world. Busy, time flies. And finally the last minute comes. Then we realize, oh my God, I forgot to chant properly, I was thinking time is there, I can take it up any time. But actually there is no time. The time is exactly enough for us to actually go back to Krishna. The time that is given between the birth and death is just enough for us to go back to Krishna, to purify our consciousness and go back to Krishna. There is no time for wasting at all. So we have to progress. And that is possible only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his representatives, Spiritual Master, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any comments, questions? Yeah. Yeah. So the question was, when we are coming back, when we are falling down in the material world, do all the souls get human form, or other forms also possible? Yeah, it depends on the mood a person has. For enjoying, for enjoying in the mode of ignorance, we have different body. Just like um a soul is getting a dog's body, and the soul is having desire. He is comfortable in that body, in that consciousness. Then he gets that body. There are so many 84 lakh different species created by the Lord. Not only mind, intelligence, ego. 84 lakh different species is created. So that whatever is we have a twist. We want to enjoy separately from Krishna. On top of that, there is another twist. I want to enjoy this way, that way. And some type of enjoyment is possible only in that body. If a soul that is having matured consciousness, if that consciousness is put into dog's body, he will suffer. Or if a dog's consciousness is put into a human's body, then that human being also suffer. He will act like dog. You have that rabies disease. The dog who's having rabies disease, when he bites a human being, he will act like dog. He will bark like dog. The saliva comes out. Very dangerous. So it's a what do you call, proof that the consciousness, we work according to our consciousness. So it is a punishment for a person to get a dog's body when he is having consciousness of a human being. Like Jada Bharat, he underwent a big punishment. He was having very high level of consciousness, but he got into a deer's body. But according to his consciousness, he didn't act like a deer, he acted like a devotee only. He just went around, goes around the sticking down the temple, taking only prasadam and listening to the sadhus, whatever he could do because of that awakened consciousness that he did not forget. Normally, when we get into the body of a dog or a deer, we get into that consciousness only. So according to the level of consciousness, according to the type of enjoyment a person wants to enjoy, he will get a body. Not necessarily only human body. Sometimes demigod's body, sometimes human body, sometimes yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, that type of body, sometimes animal's body, human being's body. According to the twist that we have on how to enjoy, we get that type of a body. That is why Prabhupada has explained that, in a class, very nicely explained. That's why you don't see different species only here. You see different species even in Golokamanta. You have peacocks there, you have, cows there, you have calves, you have buffaloes, you have all sorts of living entities there in the spiritual world also. According to the level, they want to serve the Lord. So similarly, some species is manifested. Some are too crookish, like, Bhudagana's body, mosquito's body, cockroach's body. That is meant for really, inflicting pain upon others, which is the mood that is there only in the material world, not in the spiritual world. But the other species who is wanting to serve, make people enjoy, serve the Lord, serve the devotees of the Lord. That kind of bodies in spiritual world also they have. They have trees in spiritual world, they have grass in spiritual world. Of course, in spiritual world, everything is spirit. Even table, chair, Krishna's cloth, Krishna's peacock feather, Krishna's flute. All are souls only. Nobody needs to take the fan and fan the Lord. Nobody needs to take the chamber himself will do. Because he himself is conscious. Shantarasa bhaktas. So in the spiritual world, everything is there. But everything is spirit. In the material world, everything is there. But everything is matter. The spirit is trying to come here and try to enjoy like in the spiritual world. Not possible. Here everything is problem. Day before yesterday, I saw one child. He was giving groundnuts to the peacock. The peacock came, ate the groundnuts. The child was enjoying, ha ha ha. Suddenly it came and pricked the eyes. Seeing the eyes, eyeballs, came and pricked. Horrible. Peacock is very nice to see, but don't go near it. It will prick the eyes. So monkeys are very nice to see them, jumping here and there. But then, when some foreign devotees were enjoying, in Vrindavan a lot of monkeys are there, they were enjoying monkeys' activities. And Prabhupada told them, watch out, don't enjoy too much, you will become like that. So when we have a desire, accordingly we get a body. We don't know what body we got in the beginning. Sometimes human body, sometimes animal body, sometimes small creatures like unicellular organisms, amoeba, paramecium. They're also having consciousness, completely covered consciousness. And you get into that, to the level of ignorance you have. So now it is important for us to, actually understand this body is only an instrument, and our consciousness, is to be cared for. Any other comments?
At the time of leaving, whatever consciousness we have, go there. So if somebody has Prala mode of liking Darshan, some of them like Krishna. So accordingly, the destination also changes. Like lover of Ram goes to Ayodhya,
Yeah, of course, that is on a different level we're talking about. According to the mood, that is called rasa. Actually, in spiritual world, what we have is bhava. Body is of bhava, actually. Body is made of that bhava. In Brahma Samhita explains, Yad bhava bhavi tatiyo manujasta daiva samprapya rupa mahimasanayana bhusha. Yad bhava bhavi tatiyo. Dhiya means intelligence. Bhavita means, bhava is bhavita. Bhava is, you have the mood of, the father of Krishna or something, mother of Krishna or something. Then bhavita means acting in that mood. Bhava bhavita. Dhiya, because of our intelligence. And you get sanayana bhusha. That way you will go. You will get that body. You will get that opportunity. So it is nothing to do with, different incarnations or anything. It is to do with what bhava you have, you can achieve that bhava. So in different stages of bhakti, you have a stage called bhava bhakti. In that, lightly the real bhava will be revealed to us. Lightly revealed to us. Before you get prema. And therefore, based on that bhava only, the prema can happen. You cannot have the conjugal bhava with the Lord Ramachandra. He will kick you. So that bhava means, according to that bhava, you get that type of spiritual body. Spiritual body is bhava sharira. So we have in the spiritual world also body, that is bhava sharira, means God, bhava body. Now we have material body made out of 5 elements in different combinations. But in spiritual world you have bhava sharira made out of bhava, the real bhava you have. Based on that bhava you get prema. You worship Lord Ramachandra, out of that bhava means you worship, in a servitude or that mood. In Lord Ramachandra, you have brotherhood, and you have servitude and brotherhood. Brotherhood. So, of course, you have Vatsalya also, like Kausalya, Dasharatha. So, we have to achieve that bhava. That bhava is revealed to us after we become attached to the Lord. That attachment comes after we become nishtha. We get totally established, fixed in Krishna consciousness. And that comes only after anartha nivritti. We remove all our anarthas. And that happens only by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Sadhu Sangha, association, reading, chanting. Prabhu, any comment? Prasadam time. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Sri Chaitanya Chidamata ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande. Hari.